Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a honey jar spell for somebody that you need to be sweet to you. Either if it's like your relationship that you want it to get better and you want to stop fighting with your boyfriend or your husband, or it could be like somebody from work that you want to just get in their mind and make that person nice to you. If it's like a really mean boss that you have, how to like win that person over and make them treat you well and to stop being like basically a bad person to you. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so to start off, if you guys are new to witchcraft, you probably like don't know or aren't connected to like a specific deity. If you are, you could use your deity to assist you in this type of spell depending on what they normally what are their like qualifications for, because you know some deities are good for love, wealth, healing, protection, and so on. So yeah, if you're new to witchcraft and you don't have a deity or you're not connected to any specific deity that could help you and assist you with this type of spell, then that's perfectly fine, because you know you could also use the 4 elements. So you could put this spell and this type of energy to manifest whatever you want using the elements of the universe. So right here, I have earth, fire, water, and spirit. I have some incense going on for spirit or air, either way. And yeah, so let's start the video. Okay guys, so before we start to do any type of spell work, any ritual, any meditation to prepare yourself for a ritual or a spell or whatever it is, I highly recommend to first take a spiritual cleansing or a spiritual bath. And that basically requires a, whole process of a ritual for you to cleanse yourself and for you to unblock any blocked chakras that you might have, any curses, anything that like people made you have like a bad eye to yourself, or any bad intentions of others, and any stuff of that. Like I highly recommend that, because a lot of the times when our chakras are blocked, we don't notice. So like when we try to like communicate with spirits or we try to do spell work or any type of ritual, a lot of the times it doesn't work, and that's why, is because our chakras are blocked. So I highly recommend for you to take a cleansing bath first. So for the cleansing bath, I have these crystal bath salts and sea salts in my shop with cleansing herbs that I use for myself. It's right over here. So basically this has sea salts, all cleansing properties and herbs to open up your chakras again, to cleanse out all the negativity and all that bad stuff from your body, and to bring in positive energy and positive vibrations. So that's why I put some amethyst crystals in there, some pink colors, happy colors, some lavender herbs, some rosemary, and some mugwort to help you communicate with your higher self, or any spirits that you might want to communicate through divination or any things of that sort. I highly recommend for you to like use anything like this that would cleanse your body and rid yourself of like negative energy before you start any spell work. So after you take a cleansing bath, to clear your space, for like maybe you did like a ritual like last week or anything like that, and it's really important to clear your space, because that energy, let's say you were cursing or like hexing somebody, and you don't want that energy to sit there while you're trying to perform a spell, especially if it's not another cursing or hexing spell, because you don't want that negative energy to linger there. And that type of stuff, it lingers there in your space. You might not feel it, but it's there. So I highly recommend as well to have your own energy cleanse sage spray. I make my own, and I also have these in my shop as well. This is sage spray. It's the same thing as sage, but if you're a person that's very sensitive to burning certain types of herbs, certain types of sage, or you have like a person in your home that you can't burn things because they're very sensitive towards scents and all that stuff, I make these that are in my shop. These are sage sprays. They basically do the same thing. The only difference is that, you know, it's a spray in a bottle, and also when you cleanse your energy and use sage stuff, it takes out all the energies and it basically leaves you with an empty energetic space. So this, what it actually does, it also brings in positive energy. It has other herbs and other crystals, other properties in there to bring good stuff back into your space. So not only are you cleansing your space and taking out all the energy out of there, you're also bringing in positive energy. So that's really important for you before you start any ritual or spell work after you take your cleansing bath. Okay, so basically how to do a honey jar on someone. Okay, so we have our honey jar. We have a red candle and some controlling oil and licorice root, cinnamon, honey, and cherries. So let's start off by doing the spell. Okay, so when you do this, like, you want to call on the elements. So I call on water, earth, fire, and spirit to assist me in the spell, and you state the person's name and you state what you want what do you want to happen to that person. I want you to help me and assist me in the spell because this person is, you know, being mean to me, or I want to fix our relationship, to make our relationship stronger, to make that person sweeter towards me, to make them like me. So here's our note that I made. This is just an example. It says, make John Doe sweeter, more loving towards me. So obviously John Doe is not a real person. This is just an example again. So you're gonna write your intention and your petition. This is basically what you're putting out to the universe, what you're telling these elements to assist you with. And you're gonna write everything that you need and you're gonna put it in the jar. Then you're going to have written down the person's name and the person's date of birth. If you don't have the person's date of birth, if it's like a co-worker or somebody that you're not very close to, but you know, that's being mean to you and stuff like that, a lot of the times you might not notice, but like if you have some type of writing, some type of check, some type of signature of that person, you could use that as well. It's because it's specifically from that person. So if you don't have their birthday or any, like, their name or anything like that, that works as well too. So we're gonna put their name and their birthday in there with the petition. Then if you guys have a picture of the person, I highly recommend, you know, just print it out. If you have it like with other family members, anything like that, just cut them out. You just need the picture and you're gonna put it in there as well. After you do all this, you're going to get your honey. And you're just gonna imagine this person being sweeter to you. Imagine them not being mean to you anymore, not being an asshole. Everything that you want this person to be, just imagine it in your mind. Just imagine it while you're doing this, because you manifesting this in your mind while you're doing the spell is very powerful. Over here we have licorice root. Licorice root is a herb that's like super powerful, and it assists in controlling and manipulating and dominating anything basically. So if you're doing a spell that has to like dominate or mind control another person or target that you might have, licorice root is very powerful and is a very good herb to have. I actually have this as well in my shop, but it's very good for this spell. So you're gonna put some licorice root in there. So after that, you could have any sweet things that you might have. I have cherries, and you're going to put either 7 13 or 3 cherries in this jar. So my number that I always choose is 3. So I'm gonna put 3 cherries in the jar. After this, I also have cinnamon powder. You could use cinnamon powder or you could use actual cinnamon sticks, whichever you have. I'm gonna put the cinnamon in here. And then again, guys, remember to always be thinking about the person and what you're wanting the person to do for you and how to think, and you want to make them, you know, more sweeter towards you, more nicer. Basically, you want to think that you're winning them over, that they change, that their attitude changes towards you. All this stuff is very important to think in your mind while you're doing this. Okay, so we have our honey, our licorice roots, the person's information, cinnamon, and 3 cherries. So the next thing that we're going to add in here is going to be mind controlling oil. I have this in my shop as well. I have mind controlling oil. It's basically the licorice root herbs and other very strong dominant herbs that are mind controlling. In my shop as well, we're going to put 3 drops of mind controlling oil. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're basically finished with this jar. Like, you don't need to put any other ingredients in here. If you have the person's items such as clothes, any writings, any other items that is personal to them, if it's like a relative or it's your boyfriend or husband, you know, you're closer to that person, so any clothing, underwear, anything like that that's very personal, you can cut it up and put it in this jar as well. So at the same time, while we're doing this jar, we're going to get a red candle. Now for this spell jar, for this honey jar, this can either be a red candle or a white candle. So in this case, we're going to use red. And we're going to get the candle. We're going to anoint it with our controlling oil. As we're anointing the candle with this controlling oil, we're going to anoint it, how do you say, not towards you, but like towards the jar or towards basically the universe, because we don't want this spell to go back to us, and this spell is not specifically for us. If this was like a love spell to make us love ourselves more, or a healing spell, it would be towards us, but in this case it's for another person, or another person as like a target or anything like that. We always anoint the candle outwards. Okay. So after you're done anointing the red candle, what you're gonna do is, so this is an example, right? So instead of like carving, which is what you guys should do, I'm going to pretend I'm carving the person's full name onto this candle. So in this case, John Doe. And then I'm going to state what I want to happen. Make him sweeter towards me. So after you're done carving this into the candle, you are going to light this red candle. And you're going to put it on top of this jar. Now while the candle's on top of the jar, you're gonna wait until it melts all the way down and the candle starts to drool all over the jar. And while this is happening, it's gonna take a while. So what you want to do is just think about this person and think about all the stuff that you want to happen to this person towards yourself. So let's say it's a coworker, or let's say it's a boss that's a person that's not really nice to you, and is giving you a hard time, is always giving you like write-ups and all this stuff. You're going to picture that person being nice to you, trying to be your friend, trying to be more close to you. You're going to picture all this stuff while this candle melts, and it melts all over the jar. So after this is finished, right, we're going to cover this jar and we're going to hide it anywhere that you normally don't go. So let's say we're going to hide it, let's say in the closet, in a corner in the closet. We're going to wrap it up and we're going to hide it in the corner of the closet. And you guys might want to take note of this. Let's say it's today, you might want to write the date down, and from today for 7 days, you're not going to think about this. Just don't, I know it's probably hard for you guys like to not think about this, but try not to think about it. Like after all this is finished, hide the jar with the candle and just forget about it for 7 days. After the like put a reminder on your phone if you have to, because after this, on the 7th day, you're gonna get this jar and you're going to bury it, because that is the completion of the whole spell. Because during the time that you're doing this until the 7 days is the whole process of this spell or of this ritual. So after you complete this, you're gonna start to see changes in that other person, whether it's your husband, your boyfriend, or your boss or coworker, whoever it is. So yeah guys, that's basically my method of using a honey jar and performing a honey jar spell on somebody. There's many other spells that you can do with this, and I'll show you on other videos in the future. So this is just one method that really works very fast for me. So yeah guys, let me know if you try this spell, or if somebody else that you know wants to try this spell, if they're having a hard time with that other person.